Static. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No problem. All right. Shuba. Okay, so we just covered the topic of innate mind essence as Dharmakaya, or co-emergent mind nature, as the empty nature of Dharmakaya. And the fact that mind and appearances are inseparable and non-dual. Matter is uncreated, objects are uncreated, which means that they lack any kind of inherent existence. If something were to exist, that would mean that there would necessarily be something called non-existence, etc., and you would have a dualistic situation. In fact, it's free from those two extremes, and therefore empty. So the inseparability of mind and appearances, and the lack of the uncreated nature of matter and material and immaterial forms. The example or the metaphor used to explain that is the sky, the fact that the sky lacks any particular color or shape or characteristic that we can, like if you paint red on it, it won't stay. If you paint any color on the sky, there's no way to do that. Likewise, the mind is, we have no ability to affect or stain or alter the mind nature. Drikung. Just sit far away. Move it.
Use Rinpoche's mic.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No. Rinpoche. Yeah.
No más clear.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can I unplug it? Oh.
She just turned it off, I think.
Can't get you. 나서.
어때네 샘 햄버 좀 햄버 요라 햄버.
한번.
햄버 수분 좀 소는 잘라 좀. 햄버다 그다. 햄버데 마레스 햄버니 강야 샘 초비오 마레스 햄버도 소는 초비오 마레스.
무엇보다 찍봐.
뭐보다 초비오 마레스. 어때네 샘 마도디 tene siam ke rangi sala khurbe chu ke de ning ma re zong do khurbe chu je yo la khurbe chu ti siam rangi se de ning ma re se
코르웨츠.
khurbe chu ge wa di khang da ram da so ke siam ke rangi se de ning ma re se de ning ba mi jo de se de cha sha na se la de xiang na se da ni me ni bu da ka ba dong ni ma zi wo je yo na你嘛只有在下的，没把开心，没开心，我搞了东西嘛，没没这样图嘛，这是你嘛只有这个呢。
那啥。
你嘛只有在下的，这些个咱让一些我是吧，我是这些的搞了嘛不可以这把我那的，像你老是同事嘛，这样图嘛，这种多。
那啥。那啥。Okay. So the nature of mind lacks any material substance, substantiality, and it also is devoid of any of the qualities of the samsaric qualities. And just as the sun, the brilliance and light of the sun cannot be obscured by 1,000 eons of darkness, in the same way, the luminosity of the mind can never be dampened or dulled by our deluded confusion over eons. This. Semde. Tanila, Malhoya, Getcha, Rova. Okay. Semlang. Ngopo Yomare, Labna? Ngopo Yomare, the Ngopo Meba Chipa Marve.
Ngopo Yomare, Samala. Siam Rangi Trobio Maris. Ngopo Maris, and Ngomi Meba said,
Ngome Meba.
Meba is in the Tombo Lamanus. Meba is Lamanus. Yoba Maris, Yoba Paka is Meba is Lamanus.
Okay.
Ngomila Trobio Maris.
Okay. So this is about not falling into the extremes of existence and non-existence. If we say that the mind doesn't exist, does that mean that it doesn't not exist? Or, and in that way, how can we avoid thinking in one particular dualistic way? If we have stated one thing, is it not the other thing? I mean, sort of like that. This is really echoey. Yeah. Okay, so it's right. Okay. Okay. So if the mind was once substantial but is no longer substantial, then we have a problem, because substance existed at one point. The fact is, it's neither been substantial or insubstantial, because substance doesn't exist in the first place. For example, how come didn't Drazo goes at it? The young church, Kali song. Namka Tombare, love gear.
Namka Tomba, the Drew Tomba, the Drew Tomba is a lab to Maris. Namka Tomba, the Drew dogs. Tomba said, the Drew said, Tomba is the main doctor of Zaman. Namka. There is a Namki, that Tomba, the Drew Child, and then the Drew Child said, the lab to Maris.
Mains on Mato. Mama, the 10 to go, Mare. Get up. Okay.
What teaching to that? Long sample was it? Was it long sample was it? Yes, and main star automatic. Yes, and the tiny strawberry was it, and the strawberry set.
No, sir.
Strawberry,
okay. All of the descriptions that we give something like the sky or the mind, nature, are simply arbitrary verbal designations and it's impossible to express actually what the mind nature is because there is no particular definition or quality or characteristic that we can identify. So saying that the sky is empty, simply, it's just words. It's nothing more than that. We can't actually describe the sky very perfectly. Same with the mind. Also. To say that all of samsaric phenomena are empty implies that somewhere there's something that's not empty. So even by describing it that way, we have fallen into we've fallen into extremes already. So the fact is, we do our best through practice to experience something that goes beyond these attempts at descriptions. Better? I think so. Thank you. So these verbal designations, these words or names that we give the mind, and for example, describing it as luminous luminosity. It's just simply a name that we give. That, as well as the fact that all phenomena exist within the sky, in the same way all phenomena exist within the mind, and that the mind goes beyond all extremes, all dualistic notions. These things need to be realized, need to be experienced by training our body, speech, and mind. To put these teachings into practice, it's necessary first to abandon or give up all activities of the body, speech, and mind, meaning to stop engaging in all of the various things that we do during the day with our bodies, because we're too easily distractible. We need to bring in our focus and not expend our energies doing various things. As beginners, it's necessary to create this space, a focused space for ourselves. Later, as our realization deepens, then activities don't have the ability to distract us and take us away. In the same way, we need to abandon activities of speech, not engaging in conversations that don't relate to our practice. And our minds need to quiet, so not thinking about too many things. Need to focus specifically on the practice at hand. This is sure. Sem. Ngak song be. Lud kasa nyume tongbo dao. Tane. Tane ngak thola song ma so. Yeah. Okay. Semde.
Semne namkeji dabres, sambe yunde dabres, sambe yunde. Watne tela te ngang dang ja me yo, ta sem sambe yunde de. Nyamne ta sem ngo je je jong ne, ti ngang la ta pa chawa kare sem de te pa nam to kare yin pa dang go ya yo ma le se. Sha shu se na ze nyamne chi ne, ze lo chi ne gom go ya yo ma le se. Te nyamne chi yo se ne zam mo ma mo dang ne ha, dong ba yin se. So. I'm talking about the so about
Some tango mare, Dombo, Domba Imba. Our bodies are empty vessels, similar to a stick of bamboo, which is hollow inside. And the mind, when we engage in the practice, we don't generate too many thoughts about, I can't get distracted, I need to rein in my mind, I shouldn't be thinking about that, I need to do this. It's simply resting and being aware of the natural, unmodified condition.
yu de
Deso.
deso sen yu chen ke zibe lo yora te mi ba ziba wa te da chi de so pa soma che so ni chuni ne lo na te nyam ba sha di na sem zi sa mi ba
Jusa me pa. Jinsa. Jinsa.
zi sa sen na da de yu se de yu chen se de da ya na ji tin ga le yora da pa se de che ba se de wa te so jin yang ma zi de sem ba chu bin ang te wo 자那这叫在进步的中多
No so.
我这说光要不说光从南直从那那没被强求特别的是
Lana me be changchu.
可是呢光把嘛因光把因是可不是的别进步的是是可是去从那那没被强求特别的是啊
No so. In addition, there's no attempt to have an object of focus. It's a non-referential practice, and there's nothing to which we can grasp. The mind rests at ease in its own natural condition, and when we recognize that state, which is Mahamudra, then our task is to sustain, prolong, familiarize ourselves continuously with that state, such that our familiarization increases and increases. And then when we are fully familiar with the state of Mahamudra, that is unsurpassed Buddhahood, enlightenment.
我的那路去，我的那路同他们那路去了，开了呀，我嘞，到话题去，其他多少嘛嘞，说开了呀，有啦，开了，其他我嘞，到话在逻辑到话说的呢，路去其他，那边有个去。 我这个那路同样差不多头嘛类似。
是。
我这个那一个每块当街把这光呢，光把这个样差不多，光把这同头嘛类似。
没把有呢。
每块，我没把忙我现在瞧着什么路嘛类似。
It's impossible to realize the state of ultimate reality, the actual nature, if we are continuously focused on an object or a reference point. The meditation is completely free of reference points.
좀 다르게 요리는 다르게 요나 뒤 상면에 찾아 친구 또 어떻게 말했어 로그 집에 효수 찾아 친구 또 어떻게 말했어 이게
맞아
지금 좀 공개 공책 있어요 지금 티나 들을 좀 공책
공책
티나
배차지기를
해 공책
공책
공파지가 공파지가 공책
공책
가오가는 공
네 공책
我经常看的中文是呢，千步中的马来都会做噻，千步中，我千步中有的是，
千步松，
千步中，这边呢，提起大把多少马来中的，可是呢，看见俺瞧着千步意思，几把就有的是，看见俺多把千步意思，我这几把就有的是，看见俺我买千步意思，我听几把几张罗当听上的，俺印象听几把的，瞧着千步那罗多少马来是。
맞아.
그런 내놓은 형태 단 두와든 너데 나 먹고 좋아. 어디 소소소소 괜티. 단거 소소소 좀 다른 송디 티겨나. 소송데 어디 찾아 신고 통다 내놓도 또 어떻게 말했어.
그래. 숨바드 자기 참 쪽바 참보다니. 숨바드. 우마 참보. 그러죠. 그래서 okay. All of the divisions and stages and paths of the secret mantra of Vajrayana practice. For example, the generation stage, the perfection stage, the 6 transcendent perfections, the prajna, the paramitas, the Abhidharma, the sutras, the tantras, all of these things, none of them, no matter how much we are attached or continue to practice them, will lead to will give us the realization of Mahamudra, because they're all referential, conceptually focused practices. And there's a text called Gongjik, which means single wisdom mind, single wisdom intention, in which describes the pitfalls of people becoming sectarian with the three greats, which are the great Sio Mahamudra, the great perfection, Dzogpa Chenpo, the great middle way, Madhyamaka. Practitioners of these three greats become very attached to the fact that I am a practitioner of Mahamudra, or I am a practitioner of Dzogpa Chenpo. None of this will lead to the ultimate realization of Mahamudra. All needs to be abandoned. Drikung. Don tambe tamsik. Don tambe tamsik nyam dogre. That's a mikpa la zongna, mikpa la chaksam minna. Okay. Also. Okay. Those who cling to their identities as a practitioner of one of these greats will not experience the true luminosity, the true Mahamudra realization. And their ultimate, it's called the ultimate sacred commitment, the ultimate samaya, will degenerate because of this. It's not necessarily limited to these three greats either. Any particular philosophy to which one is overly attached and identifies with, any kind of self-grasping, does the same, creates the same problem. Karega damsik? Jedzok damsik. So, if we generate too many conceptual thoughts, if we have overabundance of conceptual thoughts and grasp onto them, that leads to the degeneration of what is called the sacred commitment of the generation and perfection stage. So the samaya of generation and perfection. Imachebe. Mije. Maje. Jiba.
Chiba. Mejiba. Baya ta chandu bechiti. Ma kime baya ta chandu bechiti. Mejiba.
Pre.
Yik mejiba.
Je.
Mare ma baya ta chandu bechiti. Chawa chiba.
Che.
Oh, chiba.
Lasso. Mache. Macheba. Lasso.
Tene ta yi la majiba. Nyamba sha ne chu ne lo ngo chu gres yi sia ziba me ma sia ma chu bing la. Yi ke lo ge ya so me ba nyamba sha na. 근데 생내로 또 안 그래 정도.
딱딱하고 그 양계서는
그지 맞지 봐.
이 맞춰봐.
됐어 맞춰 배너나. 생 맞춰 봐. 좀 많이 봐.
그래.
맞춰 배너나 양 봐잖아. 생내로 또 안 그래.
또 용그래 나서. However, if the mind is left in its natural condition, unmodified, unaltered, at that from that place, one can attain realization. The Chagya Chamaka Tamsi. Drumme. Mumba Saya. Okay. If we release our grasping, if the grasping tendency is let go of, then whatever thoughts, whatever appears, it's just like a wave rising out of the ocean and returning to it. Completely, the mind is no longer subject to distraction or grasping. At that point, then resting in that state, one's Mahamudra sacred commitment will not degenerate by remaining in that place. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's like that's similar to being a butter lamp dispelling darkness. Okay. So when we're free of grasping and we rest in an unmodified state, in that realization of mind's nature, then all of the teachings, all of the vast number of teachings that belong to the three Pitakas become crystal clear, effortlessly understand. And that is called being a butter lamp, being a lamp of the teachings, a torch of the teachings, the Buddhist teachings. Okay. Lumbo. Good ministers.
ambo zebo mi ba ha ma ba mo ka ji
Gupa.
oh gupa dong
Lombo. Lombo. Okay.
lombo
Yeah.
我这节目 lombo 他说 안티 차다 템 보통 이제는 뭐가 말이시라 뭐 봐요 말이시
나서.
와 텐디 다 데로데 정도 통데 뭐뭐 제보 nombo 남스 때 통데 차다 좀 보통 다 뭐뭐데 뭐 봐미 봐라
네.
제보 nombo 他说啦 그래 주다 그랬지 그래 그래 주는 가도이나 그래 주고 다 쳐도래 통데 뭐 봐미나
나서.
그래 주고
그래.
그래 주베가 와
도도도.
아 고소해
왔어.
와 땡이 녀송 좀지 동안 메시 nombo 녀이지 생겨서 좀지 동안 세다 풀면 거지 그 nombo도 좀 녀이지 버렸어
네. realmente cosa
와 다 가지 때 소소 동아들 파타노나 나만 개발 된 거래서 나만 개발 된네 나만 개발 된네 제가 앞으로 냠냐치나 저렇게 그랬어
나서. Talking about those who lack the deaf and mute people have a very pitiful situation in that they can't hear the explanations or comprehend the instructions. So, but for some very great masters are able to transfer their blessings to such persons, and through practice, they can also attain realization. 나서. 나비. 나서. 서칭아. 단니발을 lep송. 오. 이래래. 오케이. 이래래. 오케이. 유장래.
와탄 콜베 추원데 처마한테다 콜베 추오제 유라 콜베 추 처마 동메레 동아 규레스
콜베 추 저 탐제
콜베 추 탐지 통다 침보 미바시 동아 마보 용야 세레스 와티 가시 지나 인고 배제 요 말레스 와티리다 동 담배 인고테다 따나 야고 요레스 동 담배 인고 쳐서 침보 따나 뭐라고 요레 동도
딱딱하고 마송야.
콜베 추네 콜베 추요라 콜베 추다라라
요요요.
콜베 추도 정말 레카 카리나타 레카도 추올라브라 콜베 그냥 젠다만다라
제제.
와티 참마들아 도미 동아 규레스 도메바 동다 침보 미바지 동아 규레스 동아 규
추는 콜베 자와.
그래서
닝보메레.
닝보 미바지 저는 동메레 동아 침보지
네.
와티다 동 담배 닝보들아
Okay. There's tremendous benefit from. Okay, so this is the second of those 5 categories that I mentioned a long time ago, and that is the the explanation of the essence, the lack of essence of things. There's tremendous benefit that comes from recognizing that our samsaric activities, all samsaric phenomena, lack any meaning, any inherent, essential existence, kind of.
와탄 용모바다 용모바데 예데서 녀와는 테 풍본데라 랑 풍본데 와탄에 제파 제로 제기바는 제기바는 소주기 추세 추내서 제가 추고라는 비자고서나 와탄 나이데 그래도 같은 코도레 세대 배제 자야래 배제 셰어 공바제 요나 셰어 공바티나 장마제로 요즈나 장마제
장마하나
장마 장마제 장마 특허세나 다시야 공바티 카자잖아 또 양도사요 말아 네 셰어 공바티 또 오테레 소나 나스 하드메
So, if we fail to recognize this fact, our disturbing emotions and our karmic karma drive us continuously through samsara. All of our many lifetimes, we've just been cycling in this cycle of miseries from which we have no escape. It's like being sucked into a whirlpool, can't get out, or like a fly that we put inside a jar, being a fly in a jar. If you put the lid on, it has no way to get out. And if it flies up to the top of the jar, that's sort of like being in the higher realms. Flies down to the bottom of the jar, that's like being in the lower realms. The fact is, it's still in the jar, and there it is, flying around. We laugh. So it's actually grasping onto conceptual thoughts that causes us to do this circling and cycling. And as long as we have the grasping and we believe that there's something there to hold on to, we don't understand that it lacks any meaning, it lacks any essence, then we will continue to cycle. However, what does have essence? What does have essence and meaning is the practice that leads to releasing all dualistic grasping, all subject-object conceptualization. Once that has been overcome, released, and one is resting in unwavering mindfulness, then that is known as the king of views. And when we're free of all exertion, all striving, all hope and fear, hope to attain the king of views, or fear of not attaining the king of views, once we've overcome all of that, that is the king of views.
어떤 조베 람소세 요마레스 코란 조베 람스 람가스 요마레스 그 상제게 람나 싱후 그래서 코란 코란
맞아
맞아서 안 조베 람가제 인지고 람가제 제가지는 아마니 베가 저기
맞아
어때 콤베 유미 콤나 라미 장초도 콤베 유조제 콤디레 세나 유제 샤도야 요마레스 콤송나 라나메 장초도 그래서
맞아. As long as we're holding on to an object or a reference point, there's no way to attain the ultimate view of Mahamudra. As long as we think that we're progressing along a path towards a goal, there's no way to be on the actual path or reach the goal of actual Buddhahood.
광송나 라나 메비 청소 토브로 야 광송데 제 도도데 대야 오나 디스칼레 요사라
바로 열게 땅 거래 스강 남도 연나
광송도 다제 네 야고 광송 상제 특별히 장 지바나 제 효과지나
네.
Yeah,
as long as we're still sort of hoping and checking to see whether we've attained Buddhahood, there's a great chance that we haven't.
근데 다곰 교리 대상진 단 ndo 생기 티바 도는 다와 곰바 제 나다와도 사다 라 마보 제야라
그래.
어떤 디건 저거 신보면 제야요 말해 좀 청사 지고 남 지키고 그랬어.
맞아.
제 추운도 그랬어.
맞아.
사람 제요 말해 좀 그러라. 어떤 데라 뭐 다곰 교비 그런 힘내로 통라 미페 유 당 사람 그 남자 조문은 소다 다와 곰바 조바나 미페 유다 제사람 남자 선디 곰 조요 고야 뭐도 있어. 그 시험에 내로 또 어디 건디 손은 상지 토브르게 시스템 토브르다 남들이 사티 고야스 뭐도 정도
So, in the Vajrayana, there's much talk of paths and levels and ground, path, result. All of this becomes irrelevant or unnecessary once one has attained the realization of Mahamudra, in which there are no levels, paths, or divisions at all. Ladix. So. Juma.
Juma. Sakata guys, Juma. Juma said, Ming Chu. Or Ming Chu, the day you jump and Mambo, Sarafana.
Ale, magic.
Or magic, what something on your mara. Or then you can choose some social truth on it. So Ming Chu Charles on it, jump and phone.
Young bats out and sharing gray.
Juma to do Sara, Juma said, not jam.
No, so curse, like black curses, black magic. Get you? Miller Goma Tanguso. Tumare. Juma Hakoso. And I mocked the sharing gray.
So Persina Chito, Mambo down to Ma down to died long, died on the drum of Juna,
Lazo.
Machine Tonga. Machine Tonga, so machine by not Jabu. None of it.
Are they?
200 down
Lazo.
What I think of this, Jumada.
Long yendo.
What I don't know. This also made. Long Duncan or China, long Dumber phone,
hallucination.
What I want to be was that only at Trovium, long at Trovium, Marati could Trovium Maris. What Manam does. What a Manam you made to your Manam, me who do that. Only Trovium and you run only Trovium and Dista. Bejan. Magic, that's also seen. Do not say you that one is really the one. That's also Magic Yabo, she owns also Deva. Oh, Chibo show you got some we only see drop them. Don't about me, say to Trovio Mara. Trovio Mara. What thing also the Marek was there. Marek need Terdana, Marek need Yura. Terdana. Thing also Malam don't corrupt. Trune, Damadate, Thomas, what a Ningo, Nimbushra, Maris, only trouble, my Susan Truson.
As for how to put this into practice, here are the precious instructions for doing so. First, we examine all phenomenal existence, all of the samsaric phenomena that appear to us, and realize intellectually at first, and then through our own experience, that everything is illusory. Everything is manifests to us just the way it does in a dream, even though the dream is simply a projection of our own minds. We believe it very strongly to be real, and if someone's coming to kill us, we experience tremendous fear and suffering, or if some wonderful thing happens, we feel great happiness, and all of it is simply unreal and illusory, a projection of our unawareness. Similarly to our belief in the dream state, we take the world around us to be actually real, whereas it's simply also a dream for us. And it's our deluded state that keeps us believing in the solidity of it. So in order to realize this, we let go of the world. We renounce our worldly activities and go to a mountain hermitage far away in the forest where we can focus exclusively on the practice of Mahamudra without distraction. Correct. So, however, if we Jigten Sumgun explained that if we go up into the mountains and sit there and struggle away without taming our minds, it's a complete waste, and we've undergone hardships for no purpose. So it's not actually necessary, maybe, to go to a mountain hermitage if the essential purpose, wherever we are, is to tame our own minds. The benefit of this practice is that one experiences the nature of mind and the essence of Mahamudra. In this, the key here is to cut the root of our delusion. Just like if we were to cut the root of a large flourishing tree, its branches and leaves would wither and die. Same way, if we cut the root of delusion, all of the phenomena created by our deluded mind will wither up and die as well. Lovey. Just as eons and eons of darkness, thick darkness, can be dispelled by lighting a single lamp, in the same way, an instant of realization, of recognition of the mind's luminosity, will dispel eons of negativity and confusion. Okay, so now we're moving on to the third section of those long ago sections, called why it is beyond conceptual mind. Why this is beyond conceptual mind. Okay, so a limited, a grasping mind cannot perceive that which is beyond mind. Lo zimba yobe lo chola teni oh tenna okay chola zimba chaksem chamboyna lo lo de 저 doctor 말해 okay okay. So simple and yet a mind completely entrapped in grasping cannot realize that which is beyond conceptual mind. Someone who's very involved in activities cannot realize that which is beyond action. Oh, Jerbo. Nice. So what do we do about this? We rest in naked awareness. Naked because it's not clothed in the the garments of conceptualization, completely free of all thought. Mambugumni. Cutting the root of mind can also be likened to a jar of water, which is, when it's shaken up, it's the silt or whatever is in it is stirred up and the water is cloudy. But if it's placed on a table and left to sit, the silt will settle and it will become clear. There's no need whatsoever to react to anything that arises, whatever it might be. Any kind of phenomena need not be, there's no dualistic grasping onto any of it. Simply allowed to be unmodified and natural in its natural state. And at that point, the realization of Mahamudra can arise. Okay. And all of phenomenal existence arises as Mahamudra. Yeah. Without grasping, okay. Without grasping, if there's no grasping, then all of phenomenal existence arises as Mahamudra. Gunshi. Alaya. Gunshi the alaya rava. Men Sanskrit tuma. Gunshi. Rere. Need to inayang Gunshi the Shepak. Okay. Okay. With sustained practice, resting in the unmodified nature, original condition, all of our karmic propensities, our habitual disturbing emotions and karmic imprints will be cleared away, need to be clear. We need to clear it away so that we can perceive the original Buddha nature that's unstained by. Yinayang darong sharing grava. Okay. Okay, all of our delusory appearance needs to be dispelled. Delusory appearances need to be expelled. Yinayang darong sharing grava. Chunang sanayang. This is echoey. Sorry. Sorry, I'm saying, but don't appearances continue to arise.
소소 똑과 야보요나 나와 카가 똑과 시다면은 나와 카가 요사래
Okay.
파모 주베 좀요래 파모 주베 공식산도와
Yes.
삼삼의 오미 요라 오미도 보고 지금
Ale, wapamik.
말 오미도 보고 도르젠청
Okay.
오미도 보고 세진도와
Hakumasang.
와다 한 삼삼 대바제 지금 레스콘
Lasa.
삼삼 야베 작세세기 레스콘 축사데 강사 소소소 난 수제치나 삼삼게 다베 나와라 다베 나와트라 나완 지바 삼시 시데나 난시 참마테 차자 침부샤레 세라소마데
Lasa.
통쇼서 맞다
Re.
아 하고서
Mhm.
때 나와 마다나 가서 하고란 자면 나와 다 손한테 지바 참마 파시 손디 가서 너무 샤리아 요사 말에
Okay.
하고서
Lasa. Okay. Go on. So it's through the practice we dispel all of our delusory appearance. Apparently, Mahamudra occasionally would experience his environment as the pure realm of Dewajan, or sometimes it would be a different pure realm. So from our situations with very little realization, the appearances that we experience are diluted. For someone with very high realization, the appearances will be completely different.
상지 좀 되는데 말에 다시 말해 지침말아요가 지침말아요 지침말아 로마레 총 레총은 칸도 농대한 정 총. 어때
칸도서
칸도 담을 마모도 농대한 진짜 지침말에 남파르 칸도레 지난 송로도 야 쇼고레스 그런 만남도다 냠나도 들 칸도 농대한 총도
카레 슈거레
지침 남다 슈거레스 들 농대한 총도
나서
자체 취도 다다지 칸도 가시게 만나래 봐도 가라 쇼원은 살아도
카노 가시게 가래 가래 송송
만나래 봐서한테 슈사 가라래
슈사 가나래
자체 칸도 가시 샤쇼 온바르가 왜 신감을 쇼요레스 나도 하자
란서
레총 선도 만나래 봐 슈사 호를 고 가람도 자
폴라레
여자 잠도 다 칸도서 쇼베 메시 두야를 쇼랑 라마 니에 쇼레스 만나래 봐 가라 쇼나테 온바르가 왜 신감을 레스 나도 다 노와나테 온바르가
레레레레
나와서 파신저 가래
Wow. Okay. This is a story about Milarepa's disciple Rechongpa. He had a dream or a vision of many dakinis coming and asked him about Milarepa and where he was staying. Okay, ask for his life story, Rava? Rechongbala. Okay. Okay, and these dakinis asked Rechongpa to please, that he needed to request Milarepa's life story, and then they asked him where Milarepa was, or he asked them. Oh, they were discussing the condomas. Where? Milarepa said, I mean, some of the dakinis said that Milarepa was residing in the Injitola, the Shinkam, Ngombargawe, the pure realm of supreme bliss, one of the pure realms. And Rechongpa heard that and he thought, no, Milarepa's here in Tibet. And so then said, without pure vision, you see your Lama as very ordinary. With pure vision, you'll see that he's not residing in an ordinary place like Tibet. He's in a pure realm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as our perception is purified, we realize we are already in a pure realm. La? Break. Take a break, sure. Thank you very much. Okay. Also. So when the root of mind is cut, is severed, and thoughts are no longer pursued, followed, the thoughts from the past, we don't chase after them. Thoughts of the future thoughts that will arise in the future, we don't need to anticipate or prepare to reject any kind of thoughts. Resting naturally in a completely unmodified condition, state. This is the sure. Then all of phenomenal existence arises as Mahamudra. That's where we left off. And when we recognize that all of our perception is our own projected, deluded perception and appearances, it naturally falls away completely. Rinchen Dorjee Oh, okay. Okay. Now the text proceeds to describe view, meditation, and action. Is this working? Okay. When we are free of all extremes, all dualistic extremes, existence, non-existence, renouncing and adopting. Okay. When we're free of all of these, resting in an unmodified state, that is called the king of views. Okay. Free of grasping, free of unmodified, undistracted. This is the king of views.
타 탐지 파 체데래 초 초 탐지 체 타 초 삼아 체데래 조바 탐지 체데래 소나테 말은 타 초 탐지 체데래 제요나 조베 기저로다 그래서 조바요라
다소 알레 어찌그 곰베 오케이 chirok tatarang soya de gombe gyapo soma song okay, so what I just said about being free of grasping distraction and what else did I say? Modification. That is the king of meditation. Okay, so we have the king of views and the king of meditation. Dani yang jo sonro nang de chope gyapo. Ta
tamji pa chudere cho tamji chedere chori dan ziba so chedere sana the jobe is.
And when we're free from bias, prejudice, preference, then we have reached the king of action or conduct. And perfect freedom from all hope and expectation, all doubt and fear, hoping to attain Buddhahood, worrying about not attaining Buddhahood. When we're completely free of all of that, that is the king of fruits or king of results. So, okay, so now we've arrived at the fourth in that long ago list. The method of practice, chartsul, in the manner of arising. Rawa? No, kare chartsul. Nyamnyong chartsul. Okay, the way in which experience, meditative experience arises, the manner in which experience arises. For the beginner, it may feel like completely foreign or very, very arduous, difficult, but in fact, we already have a little bit taste of what we're working towards, because we have an awareness of of the fact that we have conceptual thoughts at all. We already have an understanding that thoughts arise in the mind. So that gives us a basis from which to understand. However, we don't necessarily believe that there's anything wrong with our conceptual thoughts. So it's through training that we recognize the faults of conceptual thinking. Okay, one more piece that I forgot. In the beginning, we feel like we're in a waterfall. It's a waterfall of conceptual thoughts that are overwhelming us. There's Nabi.
part the show kanga khale progress.
So, with a little bit of practice, we get a little bit more advanced. Then our thoughts become more like the slow-flowing Ganges River. Yowa meba. Cho chembo na gyamso chembo. Gyamso chembo da yowa meba mendo. So chembo. Okay. And then finally, our minds are like, he said, like the ocean, free of any movement. And I said, wait a second, isn't the ocean always sort of churning? And he said, yeah, maybe it's a placid lake, is what is meant here. Without wavering. And at that point, our concentration requires no effort. It's effortless and free of striving. The Sharyangurive. Tangboa. Tamaba. Nam Dok Sharnaya. Okay. There are three capacities of practitioner identified. The sort of inferior practitioner, the middling practitioner, and the superior practitioner. Inferior practitioners have an overwhelming quantity of thoughts and don't necessarily recognize that the thoughts are occurring very well. So when the practice, it's arduous to identify the arising of a thought at all. Just a little bit of inkling of what's going on. For a middling practitioner, when the thought comes, they're able to recognize it and let go of it fairly well. And for a superior practitioner, the movement of thoughts is simply a natural display of awareness and completely undisturbed by that. This is the Charleto. Rang Charleto. Get it? Okay. Charleto. The natural in the Nyingma terminology, we say natural arising and natural liberation of thoughts. Whatever whatever arises is naturally liberated. That is the main practice of the Kagyu masters of old. For the inferior practitioner, we need to use various skillful means, such as the 7-point posture, etc., to control the energies, the subtle winds, in order to bring the mind into a resting, focused state. Any? Kangana, okay. And for this capacity of practitioner, the most important thing is focusing on shamatha in whatever way that appeals to the particular disposition of that practitioner, whether it be focusing on an object or focusing on breath or non-focusing, but whatever it takes to bring the mind to a calm, abiding state. Yeah. Yeah. The mind rides on the winds, the subtle energies. The subtle energies flow through the channels, and the channels are correct. Okay. The key to the wind. Like the vital point of the channels stems from the eyes. So if the eyes are darting all around and blinking a lot and looking at everything, there's no chance for the channels to be calm or the winds to be calm or the mind to be calm. So that's why the eyes are used to focus on something. Yeah. So whatever method that helps you to help bring your mind into a place of calm abiding is good. Okay, we've come to the fifth. The fifth division of this long ago list is the companion, the spiritual companion that helps assist one in attaining realization, the consort. But this is not something that is approached easily, and it's very rare that one attains the level of realization in which one can engage in this practice. There's a story about Milarepa who observed that his teacher, Marpa Lotsawa, had taken a consort and gotten married and had a family. And he thought, maybe that's a good idea. But then he said, no, there's no way I can be like him. He's way more sublime than I am. It would be like me trying to jump over a chasm. If a lion could leap over a chasm, if I tried to do the same thing, I'd just end up with a broken back in the bottom of the ravine. 그래, 계단, 그 따다랑 소야.
레자 대한에서 레자 차자.
레기 차.
대통령이 신청.
레기 차기하다 보냐 직발에. 오케이.
와트 대통령이 신청을 해 정도.
대통.
대화도 동반이 신청을 해.
차기래.
와트 타다 시라. 와트 타기 냠바쇼네. 와트 들라 와트 자동에서 냠냐고 치고래서. 와트 신청을 같이 거래 정도.
나서.
와트 신청하지는 대용 말에서 신청하지는 신청하려면 상시 더 두고 말해서 와세리 와테 제당데 다 제당 섭진 정도라 와테 대주에 스트림 작가는 얘기가 정말 어떻게 저도 좀 몸으로 와테는 냠내서 야고 요는 대체링 받은 류지도 장당 스지당 대바 중요하다
스지당다
좀 공으로 특별히 예 정도 네 인도전에 제당지는 그래서 다제 당의 섭지장이라 섭지장 그런 써봐 되는 거야. 섭지장 사 오자. 야, 당연히 그런 자외는 들으려서. 써봐. 강가 자체 강가 말을 써봐라. 써봐. 루트
하고서.
어떤 나한테 거야.
네. 이게.
이게.
오케이. 야야야.
이나한테 냠내 챙겨야지 이나. 살롱 로만 톱들이 제 고쇼리스. 와트 마도지. 와트 류리스 와트. 와트 제당지나다. 예자는敲在很专门的都出敲在真的敲在进步公下去。敲在进步公下去，去敲在。所以他们这敲在真的都没那么公下。
当我的名去
敲的。
去敲下。
敲在进步了，
去。去。OK。去敲下。
다敲在进步公下了，其实啊。
等你。
他们这敲在真的都没公下了，有啦都没公呢。
当去敲下。都没。
都没公的，说人家那今天说，然后你吃点事。说人家那这样的，这就有啥的，等这种，他挺有气。他是的。하고 서.
딱딱하고 마서. 타마트.
어때? 자는 냠내 치야라. 또 뭐 되나? 자는 냠내 치네.
뚜모. 저런 뚜모 성거야 봐라. 오케이.
어때? 냠내 치네. 자는 냠내 치야 들이 요래스 돼요. 이게면 내 치셔도 되라고야 요 말했어. 내 치셔도. 뚜모 장도 강나? 또 뚜모 장나 소소. 장나. 소소. 번역어 말에 레기 책고 말에. 너가. 오케이. 뚜모 딱게. 딱게 자기야. 오케이. Okay. Okay, so for a person who has attained high realization and who has mastered the practices of the winds and channels, then practicing with a consort
an authentic consort, leads to the wisdom of the inseparability of the union of bliss and emptiness. And the practice is carried out without any desire or attachment. If there's desire and attachment mixed in, then Buddhahood is not a possibility. Properly practiced, this longevity, splendor, magnificence, all of these things are the result of proper practice. And then we get into a section that I'm still unclear about. Chagya, chagya, damsik chagya, dumatawi chagya, damsik, dumatamsik chagya. Oh, jigbare. Okay, Dharma mudra, Samaya mudra, Duma mudra. Except I don't understand. Okay, so for the practice of Tumo, blissful yogic heat, there's no need to rely upon a spiritual consort. Benny? And through that one can attain Mahamudra realization. Okay, this is for the ordinary practitioner, or the inferior, whatever, the lesser practitioner. Okay. Okay, so ane Tama the legi chagya ra le gore. Shambato gomare. Rabdan dringmato. Okay. Okay. He said forget about that part. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So this method of relying upon a spiritual consort is for those who are unable to realize Mahamudra simply through their own brilliance, like the superior practitioners and sometimes the middling practitioners. It's a skillful means that helps certain practitioners who don't get it otherwise. Now we have the dedication. Kawa da temba ni sama nying nala. Deta kawa dan tembe. Okay. The prayer here is, may all fortunate, karmically connected beings realize the essence of Mahamudra within their hearts. Pulahara. Pulahari Gumba. Pulahari Gumba. Sungsa. The Sungsa. Narabala Songson. Poketola. Jursong. Okay. Pulahara Gumbala. Okay. So the origin of this teaching. It was given by Tilopa to his disciple Naropa after he completed his 12 Junior. What do we say? Trials. Thank you. Trials. His 12 trials. After that, he received these teachings on the banks of the Ganges River. And following that, the two of them, Naropa. Yeah. And then after that, Marpa and Naropa translated this into Tibetan at Pulahari Gomba monastery. Yeah, which was Naropa's homeland in India. 자기 좀 따와 통보 가래.
통보 망보 이송.
망보.
이나 나도 내 통보 같더라. 소아자 저바잖아. 계시 머리. 맞이나.
네.
냠내 지표들 아 돈이 내 마토 같이. 소아자야 저바잖아. 또 매바지.
라서.
색깔에 뒤서 다 찾아 뭐 남네 탐나다 들이 냠내 지나 되거라.
네.
어떤 같이 이제 아한테 냠내한테 야고 치 마토 같이. 소아자야 저바잖아. 용제소. 그치나 안에 보시라요 말라.
So I've just spent a tremendous amount of time talking to you about the ultimate realization of the nature of mind in a very high and sublime way. However, for us beginners, what's most important is that we focus on the accumulations of merit and wisdom and purifying our obscurations, and slowly as we build enough merit and become unobscured enough, then it would be wonderful if we can actually realize these teachings. Tilopa told Naropa, okay, all appearances are dependent origination. Unborn and okay, and until we realize that, okay, unborn, and until we realize that, then okay, the two accumulations are like the two wheels of a chariot. A chariot. Right. Yes. If we lack one of the wheels, there's no way to drive down the road. So without these two wheels, so don't separate these two, please, Naropa. Yeah. There's also the danger that we might sort of bump along, thinking that, well, that's enough shamatha, we've done a little of that, not very good, but we'll move on to this, and then our deity is not very clear, but that's good enough, and then we start thinking that this is the nature. Okay, we end up with a very mediocre, watered-down version of what we're actually supposed to be realizing. So, in general, though, this practice is complete in itself, and it's a very excellent way to generate bodhicitta. And I recommend you practice this. Now, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Can I share something? This year, while I was in Ladakh, in Pyang Monastery, there was the celebration of 1,100 years of Naropa meeting with Marpa there.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I've heard of Rinchen Rinpoche talking about the Oma Hum Vajra recitation.
Yeah.
Can that be helpful towards shamatha meditation?
Yes, that is
If
helpful.
so, can you give a very simple instruction for a beginner on how to do it? It's very simple.
탑대보이니 소로낭 치 디바지 오마홈 도야 Okay, 수종원. Okay. Say Om on the inhale. Okay, and then while the breath is within, saying Ah. And the exhale, Hum. With visualization of the syllables. 이게 코라경도에. Okay, so the syllables don't move, but the breath, as the breath coming in, visualize those syllables. Om. Okay. Om accompanies the inhale, Ah accompanies the retaining, and Hum accompanies the exhalation. Not in this context. Yeah, my fault. Yeah.
So earlier, the statement was that mind resting unmodified in the natural state is the whole practice, and it's also said that one leaves aside ordinary thoughts, talk, and action, ordinary body, speech, and mind. The practice of mantra, however, is a formal practice. It's not the formless Mahamudra. It's Mahamudra with form. But I don't see that as ordinary body, speech, and mind. So
No.
It seems to me that two ways of looking at it are that Chakra Samvara is formal deity yoga. Mahamudra with form is a basis so that you can do the Chakra Samvara and do formless Mahamudra. Or you could also see the mantra practice as being an expression, direct expression of primordial purity. So if Rinpoche could express his view on Chakra Samvara as being a non-dual, non-ordinary practice, and that's a valid perspective.
You mean because it has a reference? There's a reference point.
Yes,
Is it valid?
There's a reference point. It's a pure visualization.
Right.
It's not formless Mahamudra. It's Mahamudra with form.
Right. Okay. So does it conflict with this view that the unmodified state of non-doing?
Is it valid as a Mahamudra practice in itself if we see the deity and the mantra as Mahamudras already, or is that considered at a higher level simply an obstacle?
Okay. 사 gom 걸어봐. 나는 하 댐촉 gom디 ngakte 맥봐서 then they 자기야 전부 그 gom로 말해배서 제 양 똑바 톰보 유디 그래서 그냥 벌채로 자그려 하고서에 들어래
똑바 또 어디 하고 같이 차고 말했어. 그 그러잖아. 오늘 이제 똑바 토는 하고 나라 같이나 샘플랑 요와요 말했어. 제렘 저런 처마지 또 그랬어. 제렘 저런 예르메 바도 그랬어. 예르메 바도 선도 제 너가 중요한 말해서 뭐나 선투지. 같이나 나한다 하고 같이나 샘플 내로 티강 요와요 말했어. 뭐 저도 지금 하나 내 그랬어. 어때인데 사스고나 배창라서 사스고나 하더라 제통 그런지레스 이와 동백 그런지레스 대처자 친구네 나이나 나한테 그 첫째 코미까지나데 자동 그런지 동 양내 치송도 네 이제는 저는 예매스 또 오는 그래서 똑같토라 너체 추는 말해서 똑같토나 제도 일미도 어서 똑같이 마토 되게 제рем도 가하제 샤 저렘도 가하샤 되네
okay. I feel that it's not an obstacle, and that even with the highest level of realization, at that point, there's no separation between generation stage and perfection stage. They are not delineated. There's no higher and lower. At that point, the pure form of the deity and its pure sound, the mantra, are simply the display of pure awareness.
Are there colors associated with ahum when you do that practice?
I don't think so. In this particular practice, I don't think there is.
Before we were talking about meditation and how thoughts are like birds flying across the sky and just go away. But to me, sometimes it happens. I have a thought coming up, a memory maybe, and that memory makes me anxious or it makes me angry. And it's harder for me to deal and let go with emotions than thoughts. And I was wondering if you could talk about dealing with emotions versus thoughts.
남칼라 자포리아능시 제메바 남독샤나양 제메바 이나양 공개 찬살라 남독샤디 컨트롤 가사 샘찹찹찹 자그레스 제 여파다도 남독다 레라버레 녀몽다 초로와데서 깔레카버레스 뜻이 소로낭사
솔바다 제통 나도 솔바다 남도한테 효침보지도 저 솔바서도 용어더라. 뭐 제통시나 솔바이나리 남도이나리 나도 찾아서 보면 되나? 대 그런 솔바 세라테 라지 좋아요 말이. 대 남도한테 라지 좋아요 나도 가서 뭐 라프하다. 뭐 남도한테 라지 좋아요 말이. 가르잖아. 다 냠냠 여보 시나다. 가르시 특히 도마도나 들으시는 데에 선도 배장다시나 소소라 大学堂吃好上说呢，学堂听我的，但呢，可能我啦，但你们去呢，学堂可能嘛没法吃，对呢，可能
我同呢，
学堂可能我啦，你们去呢，学堂可能听我但呢，学堂能讨很多多，我是但呢，你们去呢，学堂能讨的都差不多要嘛的，我这没丢，真的。출발하더라 용 말에 좀 출발 시와 차그래 되는 거 마시 손을 출발하더라 시와 차그래 정도 어때 다 출발 시마토나 남토 시마토나 출발 시토 말에 정도 와 그래서는 딩오 디 스파냐면 시기나 그 코로나 simple dictionary. The Rangi Maro, the talk is Namsan talk to Marina. This usually is that's the Namsan of chance one. You cannot just as this
okay, so yes, absolutely. There are times when a thought can trigger a very strong emotional reaction. And the more that thought is, the more power we give that thought, the more powerful the emotional response becomes. So at that point, the emotion, the sensation of that emotion is also, can be also viewed as an arising, a thought in a way. And as long as because if the thoughts disappear, then the emotion also fades away. They go together. So as the emotion, we're feeling the emotion, if it's anger, it's accompanied by angry thoughts, or thoughts that keep the anger going. So as we recognize them, look into their essence, see from where did this arise? Where is it abiding? It will relax. And we said, as you practice it, sometimes it can last for 10 minutes. The feeling, with more attention, more awareness brought to it, it will relax in shorter and shorter period of time. And it's also an opportunity to see just as perhaps even if you have a particularly disturbing emotion, like anger, it'll make you notice it more. However, it's an opportunity to see how we get also caught up in a very positive experience. Even though we don't see that as problematic, we're equally attached to the feeling that accompanies those thoughts, and it's a chance to see how we generate our delusion in either sphere, or both, kinds. And actually the problem starts with a lack of mindfulness. If we are mindful immediately upon the arising of a thought, then it doesn't generate anything. So it's and so this is why we constantly practice mindfulness, because without that we are lost to the wind. Excuse me.
So would this apply to addictions also? Cravings?
Addiction. How do I say addiction? Cravings. Shanchak shukchambodan benna aragla. Kashi pangtumanda. Kashi karina nak karisi dua nakbod. Delayang rograbes. Chikbarabes. Murang tuad pasar the pang tubiaga tapshi delayang rograbes pengrabes. Tremba. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it definitely can help. It's in the same exact way, by being mindful of the arising of the craving thought, and not grasping, giving into. However, the body, I don't know. For example, yeah. For those who are addicted, for example, to alcohol and have grown used to consuming it, it's very, very difficult to stop. Yeah.
Lamas sometimes teach that it's very difficult to practice Mahamudra without completing the Nundro preliminaries. And I was wondering what Rinpoche's views were on that, and maybe specifically on how to integrate this with Nundro practice.
Can you repeat the question, please?
It said he's heard that you have to finish the Ngondro practices before the preliminaries before you can move on to the actual practice of Mahamudra.
Not necessarily move on, but just that it's very difficult.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, it's difficult to engage in Mahamudra without having completed the preliminaries, and how, if possible, to integrate this fivefold practice with Ngondro practice. Chanzongwe, kokela. Kondata Ngondro duguyarwa. Lama pachar the chagya chambu gomya la Ngondro tambo Ngondro tsargore ma to kalakhapo yongares sigdu charang kare gongge gores tene de data nayanda Ngondro nyamdo komnuk kandares nyamdo drikju
지상지나 거래 태공도 차고야 개침 거래스 우도 bomb 사야노
또
와서 자서 야보래 저어때 한 bomb 개침 거래 가서 삼성으로 차 해사들 자들 쳐도 포토이나 우도 참마 차 해레스들
참마 차려
근데 이나 저서 개침 뭐 저이친 게 잠나 개침 거래 되니나 저거 태공도 주제 제야 개침 거래 좀 정갈 망내리 소소 주제를 야고 곰통나세 개침 거래 정갈 같이 자나라
네네
와서 오늘 지통내 야고레스 같이 때 오늘 지건 지dünyam de 공기 소리베
제 장가 사야웨 카레 개침도
소소 주를 오늘 제야
주 소소 샘데
샘제야
둘와
와 주와
제야 오케이 레레레
잠로이나 가디나 고쳐 좀 체한다 온다 와 디가나지 와 이제 와 저서 너도 시에나 소소 주제야 잠니 창섭 센터 소소 주제야
제야 주제야
제
제야 유라 제야 나서
또 개침 거래 되나 뭐는 bomb 자소로 소와 자소는 야고라
레레
태냠도 되금지 소리베고
곰 시그르베서 냠도
지난 오늘 같이 차는 배차는 차 세쇼나 차 같은 세쇼나세 디젤 투소단 디스 공나리라
맞아
아마 주선이시다 공나리라
맞아 generally speaking, yes, it's wonderful to finish the Ngondro. And everyone talks about accumulating the 100,000 of this, that, and the other thing. And that's the way we had to do it. However, more important than the actual numbers and just getting it done is that that we integrate it with our minds and internalize it. That it improves our minds. So, for example, in refuge, it's important not just to get the recitations done, but to always, in every moment, be taking refuge, and to remember to carry the refuge with us throughout the day. So, it's not to fall into the trap of just getting the Ngondro done so that we can. But yes, you can absolutely practice the fivefold Mahamudra as you're accumulating your Ngondro. And for example, if you're doing prostrations, do however many prostrations you can do, and then spend 10 or 15 minutes going through the practice.
Sometimes I struggle with how to, I guess, maintain mindfulness when at work I am supposed to be focusing on my task in my job. And maybe it's a problem, the definition in my head of mindfulness, but in this manual, right before the dedication, it says whether there is abiding or movement, sustain non-distraction in the midst of whatever comes up. Is that a different way of saying the same thing? A different way of kind of addressing mindfulness?
Different from mindfulness.
Is that the same thing?
As
being mindful or an awareness of the nature of your
mind, okay. Leka chesala. Leka la rupa dumgore. Didi chambat. Semgungo tang. Nelu. Chuni de chamba yopa. Chamba zone. Kale kabandusa.
Leka de pensem chine.
I understand, he said. I said, I understand. In this situation, when you go to work and you focus on the task at hand, if you concentrate on doing it well for the sake of bringing benefit to all sentient beings, then you have transformed your work into Dharma. Did that answer your question? Yes.
So how often would we do the practice? Is it a daily practice? Is it, and then like what might be the length of time we might consider doing it?
Cancel. Drupgorabesa. Drumna tun ringtong. Chuzo kaze. It's ideal if you can do it daily, and the amount of time you spend with it depends on your day and your schedule. It's okay to have a short session of, or you can, if you have a longer time, do as much as you can.
It's fine to linger.
It's fine to linger. You may linger for years. A lifetime.
You were talking about the inferior, middling, and superior practitioners, and I'm wondering, is that, are those practitioners, is that a result of their karma, or is a beginning practitioner, or a inferior practitioner like a beginning practitioner, and then a middling like more experienced, and then a superior very experienced, or is it a little of both, or is it neither,
Or are you forever inferior?
Yes,
okay.
If you're an inferior practitioner, does that just mean that you have to really put forth a lot more effort?
Cansoin. Rab drink tama sumyore. The gyumsen leg wang secure the le tangbo tamare des jangna drinkbo chagre then yakpo jangna rub chagre de ke charves tama ina haliba chund usu gyab go grves
라 세나라 저도 레케 줄레 다들 같이 한 냠내 지나 시라 저도 지마 더 똑바 남상지 마 토바 용지기라 내지나 어때요 담아라 자세기라 네 오케이 네 담보니 파는 용지기라
That's all.
okay 손주치나 야고라 손주치나 야고라
It can be either. A superior practitioner may be someone who is karmically predestined or very ripened from lifetimes of practice, and it just takes a breath for that being to. Or it could be that a so-called inferior practitioner is simply a beginner, and then through effort and diligence, or sustained practice, becomes. Examples, famous examples. Gampopa was known as a superior practitioner, very, very sharp, effortless. Milarepa, on the other hand, needed to go through tremendous toil in order to become that superior practitioner. Any more? Yeah. Sorry. Which one? Ladies first.
A follow-up to earlier. Could you say something, describe a bit about the nature of primordial awareness?
Yeni rikpat, yeni yobe rikpat, tola shepa, tola. This is a soronang. Madagwala. Madagwe semje. There's a quote in the Tantras that says, impure perception is sentient beings. Somewhat pure perception is a bodhisattva. Utterly pure perception is a Buddha. So, there's another quote in the Tantras that states that Buddha, a fully enlightened Buddha is the Dharma. Perfectly enlightened Buddha is Dharmakaya, and Dharmakaya is emptiness. Emptiness pervades all sentient beings, and therefore emptiness is shared. There's no difference between the emptiness of the Dharmakaya and the emptiness of sentient beings. The true nature of sentient beings and the true nature of Buddhas is inseparable, indistinguishable, and therefore and sentient beings therefore are of the type that can become Buddhas. That's a wretched.
엄마 쪼네. 근데 말은 너무 그라 맞어. 그래서 제 뭐지 마티 제압소리. 그래서 저자 봐 맞잖아.
The example given for this is the making of butter from milk. Milk is the essence of butter, but without churning it, the butter will not rise to the surface. Or it will not turn into butter. And likewise, if we don't make the effort to purify our obscurations and accumulate merit, there's no way that we can transform ourselves into Buddhas.
Cool.
So the 5 points of Mahamudra seem very generic in that they can apply to other sadhana practices from other lineages and other traditions too. I wanted to know if Rinpoche had any advice concerning how we can use what we've learned this weekend that aren't unique to Shakra Sambhara or this lineage to other sadhana practices or other practice cycles that we're already committed to from other traditions.
차경아든 신게 이게 라오다오레스 졸룩
자생한테 힘받아.
이사레
자생한테 힘받아. 배치 힘받아.
레 가서 뭐마 톱주가 사라고 저가 왜냐면도 가서 근데 아이고 가서 뭐마 톱이야 그 저가서라 펜 So are you asking whether you can combine things or the?
Just like any general advice using what we've learned about Mahamudra to benefit other practices we have.
But what do you mean by benefiting? I mean, like your comprehension or the actual changing the.
Emptiness, I guess. Essentially, I'm guessing, wondering if he has any advice for learning what we've learned about Mahamudra this weekend to improve other practices that are out there.
Okay. Okay. 거 샴바시 누구야 살아봐. 네 팽그르베스 네 따따 누구야다. 뭐만에 누구여서 팽그르베스. Yeah, that's what I say. So what are you practicing? You say. Be specific. Hivajra. Only. Okay. So. In your case, in that case, yes, you can. I think he's jumped to the assumption that you might want to switch the deity while practicing this, but that's not what you mean. I realize, but he said that you may, in this case, implant that deity in the place of. Do you want me to keep pressing on this? Because I don't quite. I mean, to me, it seems obvious that it would benefit your other practices, but if you, maybe I'm not getting it correctly.
So I guess I was wondering if you had any advice in general for using Mahamudra to improve our understanding of Tantra in general. Was also part of what I wanted to ask.
자기가 전부장니 ጭ르땅 상아 장야라 펜토가 되어서. It depends on you whether it helps you or not. He's not making fun. It depends whether or not it brings benefit or not. Depends on the individual's effort and hard work and practice and study. Naturally, it can help him. Yeah.
ngā chāsā chīmbō yīs, ngā umā chīmbō yīs, ngā tsukwa chīmbō yīs. Tēn rōng zai, āng zai zāngā yī sā kā zai sōng dī na.
Okay.
Nirō yāng tā bā tō tō mā rā sā mā.
Returning to the example of the people who are quite attached to identifying themselves as one of the three greats, if one is encased in some kind of identity thing, then this has little ability to help one understand, appreciate and understand Tantra in general. It's for example, people who are practicing different deities, if they are very much identified with their particular deity. I practice chakra samvara. I practice Mahamudra. Then there can be quite a Guya Samaya. Yeah. They can end up being in a fight over which deity is the most effective.
Yeah. Question that I've had is like most Rinpoches that I've seen, are bald, and he obviously has a nice lock of. What is there a meaning with the hair?
Also, Lama the Rinpoche Mangchoa Legare. Utra pe zepo tupo yapo yores. Utra jaya ke kaza jumsendan tanda tanda kaza.
저도 나도 참지 니나 니담지는 많이 많이是这的看这种马琴的呀也是了，上了看那都是我这我都说了我这多啊，我真的这个是大家几个嘛也是。
我这里是吧，他这是那有的。
这里咖啡把它什么？
他有的。
他那个今天上蛮娘皮的，我送了，你嘛都这种都送都是啦。
那是，참 좋나요? Okay. In our particular tradition, when we enter into a meditation retreat, we give up cutting any hairs on our body because we believe that deities reside in the body and that in the hair, and that cutting that is a way to deplete the body, the deity, and even after the retreat is finished, we continue to keep the maintenance. In the 1600s, 16th century, 16th? Huh? In the 16th, Drupon. 16. Oh, a lot of, okay. In the 16th generation of lamas in the Drikung lineage? Okay. A master by the name of Rinchen Dorjee, who was a terton, which a treasure revealer, cut his hair and had a dream in which Guru Rinpoche came and told him that it was inauspicious that he had removed his hair because above, within the hair and the Dorjee Pangmo Dang so Kandroma Damri. So in each of the hair follicles, roots of the hair, dwelled a deity, Vajravarahi, Chakra Samvara, Vajra, Guyasama, all of these, Guyasama, Hayagriva, all residing in the hair, and that it was not such a great thing that he had severed that. And so it was from then that the tradition of keeping the hair began.
So how come that some of them afterwards cut the hair? They have to ask the permission of their teachers. How is that?
Chanzongwe. Yina lama kashi what's Shargayore, Kana Yeshirumbachi, the Nawa Shugore, Kare Nasa.
Takashi, so Lama Shuna, Marshall Sari. Takashi, so
sometimes I guess the Lama will tell a student to remove the hair, or sometimes someone just feels like it's awfully uncomfortable and decides to get rid of it. Yes. You have a question?
No, last
okay. Oh, last question. Okay, last question.
Yeah, okay. No separate thoughts.
That's all.
In the little book, there's a phrase that I've wondered about, and I've seen it in other places too. It says, "Until you abide in the ongoing stream of awareness, findings of myriad phases and modes of focused attention, make effort." I think you addressed that a little bit.
Can you tell me the page so that I can see the sentence? 23. Until you abide in the ongoing state of awareness, by means of myriad gazes and modes of a focused attention, make effort. Okay.
Right. It said something about that the point of the eyes was a part of the
channels, the origin of the channel. Yeah.
You needed to maintain your focus. Does that explain the whole phrase?
Okay. The Yinama, Sitang Jigdo, Rupa Mutuni Chang Matu Bardu, Mik Tatang, Ramandra, Tang Kaza, Rupa Jim Tab Mambula, Rale Gore, Zangores.
소소 다통하는 심지 건강시스 다 메이다 상에 심지 가르가나 소소 샘내사 소치 우리 민해와 마스주샤라도 샘디 만해와 소소 내사 지는 배송치고래서라도
나서 따당 드라만다 지도가 Okay. Yes, this is referring to all of the various ways of the various options that we have for calming the mind, using either focusing on various kinds of objects or depending on what's comfortable, gazing at certain levels, as was explained. If mental drowsiness is overcoming you, then you lift your eyes a bit, and that's what's meant by the myriad gazes. Mm-hmm.
Dedication prayers?
sho sonandi tanje sipani omeni vedrana panchete jega nashivalon trupaye sipe chole doa sho Sancho Rinpoche Ma ke panan ke gyochi ke pa nya pa me pa ya kone kondu kawa sho lava lugam zawa so wa de chodu kusere wa so wa de chule da shinge ba so wa de lama da wa me pa chingi lo jamba pa wu jita kempa da kundu zambo de ande shinte de da kungi jesu da lochi dewa di da tam che ra tu no sanje kusumi pe chila da joni min juden pe chila da endu mi shedu pe chila ji jita mushimu nandu pasho Nadan kode tanje ki dusum dusapadam yube gewe tawadi dadan semchen tamche yudulana me payan dava zobe chanshu Rinpoche topa juji sheja tunji kunken chukimba Hendene la wanto drigumba Rinchen pagi temba si temba sheju tu sangum bezin juji Gani no e koe shinkansu Kedan dewa maru juene Chene ziwan tenzin kyang soyi Shape si te padu tenjuji Kuncho kundu shakya sengeyi Tempa zinchin pewe daniche Kunzan chupa jodun chinesho Lungju jesu name shaktenso Pambe yuna aya dewaje Dokam chosu gajirin suju Jiten kukutu sechu dimpa Palenga shenku se kajate Indu kyate nyache negabe Tuto doje tabu tushuki Rime tempe kuchida kyuje Tempe ni makrashen shateso
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Tsangma